Hello everyone, welcome to Cloud Institution again. So today in this video we're going to discuss about a very interesting and important interview question which is on IAM. Okay, so now the question is what is an IAM roles and why it is used in AWS. Okay, so first of all we should know what is IAM, right? So IAM is called as Identity and Access Management. So which is one of the very important authentication and authorization services in AWS. Okay, so now let's see what is IAM roles and why it is used in AWS. Okay, so let's see the answer. So AWS IAM Identity Access Management roles or entities, you can create and assign a specific permission that allows the trusted identities such as workforce identities and application perform actions in AWS. So, so what do you mean by this one is that, for example, we have a two services. Okay, so let's say, for example, we have a Lambda and then we have a CloudWatch. Okay, so now whenever the Lambda is getting triggered, I wanted to send the logs to CloudWatch. Okay, so which means that two services are connected together. Okay, so if I can explain you over here. Okay, so I have so this is my Lambda function. Okay, so now so this is CloudWatch. All right. Okay, so now if you wanted to connect, if you wanted to send all the logs, Lambda logs, so whenever it is triggered, I want to send the logs to the CloudWatch. So what I have to do is that I have to create a policy here. Okay, I have to create a IAM policy. So that policy, okay, so the IAM policy, okay, so that IAM policy will allow the Lambda to be able to send, so the logs to the CloudWatch. So similarly, sorry, it's not policy, it's a roles. It's a role. Okay, so IAM role. So we'll be creating IAM role. Okay. Now similarly, I have SQS over here. Okay, let's consider I have SQS over here, so SQS. So I want this SQS to be triggered Lambda, so that Lambda will be able to send the traffic to the CloudWatch. Okay, if you wanted to enable that trigger from SQS to Lambda, we need to create IAM role over here. Okay, so we should be able to we have to create IAM role over here, right? So so now what is this role will be defining? So this role will allow the SQS to route the traffic to Lambda, or SQS is used to trigger a Lambda. Okay, so now what is this role is used for? So this role will allow the Lambda to be able to send the logs to CloudWatch. Okay, so if you wanted to connect, so as simple as that, right? Like, so in AWS, if you want to connect two or more services, if you want to connect two services together to be able to authenticate each other without having without having a manual authentication or password authentication, something like that, so it is a temporary authentication to access two services together. Okay, if you want to enable these kind of so this kind of authentication method, for that we have we are creating roles, right? So now let's go back and see some small demo on this one. So now go back to roles. So now, as I mentioned over here, I wanted to create Lambda. So now the trusted entities are type. So which means that, so what is a trusted entity? So that entity will be able to connect to other services, right? So now I'm using AWS service. AWS service, we have a plenty of services. I'm clicking on Lambda. Okay, so now so AWS allow services like EC2, Lambda, and others to perform actions in this account. Okay, now use case Lambda. Okay, choose a use case for the specific services. Okay, here you can see allow Lambda function to call AWS services on your behalf. So now what you have defined. Okay, so as a trusted entity. So in my case, this is the trusted entity. Okay, Lambda is a okay, so trusted entity, and this is going to be the service. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on next. Okay, so now the permission policy. Now what I have to do, I can give the CloudWatch complete permission, or CloudWatch execution permission. Okay, so whatever it is there. Okay, so for example, if you want to grant the complete CloudWatch access to Lambda, so you have to click on CloudWatch full access. Okay, so you can click on CloudWatch full access. Also, you can just restrict your access to specific, specific permissions. Okay, so the CloudWatch. So now this is the, the Lambda function. This is the policy. Trusted policy will be created. Okay, so now the role name will be Lambda. Okay, access policy one. Okay, I'm going to copying this one and I'm going to create role. So now I created a role. Okay, so probably it's already exists, right? So access policy probably two. Okay, so now, okay, so now if you can see this one, there's no Lambda access policy two. Now, if you can go to, let's go to Lambda. Okay, so whenever creating a Lambda function over here, so now what I have to do is that, give a Lambda function over here, then the change the default existing role, the execution role. So now if you can see the role, so we can just choose the role, whatever you have created now. Okay, you can choose Lambda, access policy two. Okay, if you can click on this one, you can choose and if you create the Lambda function. Okay, let's say for example, Lambda test function. Okay, if you can click create the function. So now what happens is that, so all the logs, whenever we are triggering the Lambda function, so that Lambda function will be able to send the logs to the the CloudWatch. Okay, so the CloudWatch logs will be shown over here. Okay, if you click on this CloudWatch here, you should be able to see all the logs. But if you don't create a roles, if you don't create a roles over here, then you won't be able to create any, you won't be able to send logs from Lambda function to CloudWatch. So in this case, the similar way we have to create roles to SQS. You need to attach the roles to SQS that will be able to access Lambda for the triggering. Okay, so hope you understand this concept, right? So you can create an assign the permission to allow the trusted identities such as workforce identities to the application to the performance actions. Okay, so this is what the simple explanation about how what is roles and why this is very important. Okay, in the real world. Okay, hope you understand this concept. But so you can expect this particular question, so many times in your interview because this is very important question. It's commonly asked question as part of IAM. Okay, so the question is what is they may ask you that what is IAM roles and why it has been used, or so what are the places we can use IAM roles, something like that. They can the interviewer can ask you to test your knowledge. Okay, so hope this video was really helpful for you to prepare your interview. Okay, so now thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And so I'll see you in the next video. So thank you guys. Stay tuned.